the theory proposed by the Taylor, which is extensively used in design of limit gauges. Not only defines the function, but also defines the form of most of the limit gauges. Form means the shape also. This is the MMC, this is the LMC. You can see over here, maximum metal limit, minimum metal limit. This is for shaft. Similarly for the hole, minimum metal limit, maximum metal limit, reverse. You can see that figure what shared yesterday in the WhatsApp, that and this one, both represent the same thing, right? So based on this, the Taylor principle will be, they are given the principle so that they can able to design this limit gauges, go and no go gauges. So here it is mentioned, go and not go gauge for hole, because this is a plug gauge what you are seeing, double-ended plug gauges. And double-ended plug gauge will be used only when the size of the hole is above 63 millimeter and up to 100 millimeter, right? Taylor principle. See here, before going into that particular statement of the Taylor's, just you need to try to understand it. See, during inspection, the go side of the gauge should enter the hole. As the name represent, in the last class also told that one, go gauge. Go means it has to enter, it has to pass through, or just pass over the shaft under the weight of the gauge without using the undue force. Without forcing it, it has to pass through it. It has to enter it. That is the go gauges, right? If you take the no go or not go, it should not enter or it should not pass. Right? So the basic principle of it, the design of the limit gauges must be such that no rejected component will be accepted. But there is no problem in rejecting the acceptable component. Always in the industries, whether it is a component, whether it is in the mass production or individual production of the component, usually in the mass production of the component, this basic principle, what you can see over here, this always they try to design the gauges or do the inspection in such a way that the see here the design of the limit gauges must be such that no rejected component will be accepted, but there is no problem in rejecting the acceptable component, right? All of you can able to hear, right? There are two blunders, we can call it as blunder in the organization. While selecting the component during the inspection, two things can able to happen. The first condition is that you're going to accept the defective product. That is the first one. The second one is rejecting the good component. Two blunders during the inspection of any component can happen in the industries. The first one is you're going to accept the component even though it is defective. The second one is you're going to reject the component even though it is a good product. Right? In between these two, which condition it as per the principle is concerned, it is able to do that one? See, the design of limit gauges must be such that no rejected component will be accepted, but there is no problem in rejecting the acceptable component. This is the first one, what I told. The design of limit gauge must be such that no rejected component will be accepted. Rejected component from the lot, even though it has been rejected, at any condition, you should not accept it. Suppose a component, if it is defect, if you're going to accept the component, that component, if it reaches the customer will going to have the bad experience about the organization product. That is the first condition here. If the customer will have bad experience with the product, the second time customer will never going to purchase the product. So the design of gauges must be such that no rejected component will be accepted. At any condition, at any point, rejected component, that is the defective product, should not be acceptable. If it acceptable, it will go reach the customer, then it will create a problem. But there is another condition. There is no problem in rejecting the acceptable component. Even though in a lot of 1,000 component, if one or two component, even though if it is good product, if it is rejected, then it does not make any problem or any obstacle for the organization. So this is the basic rule or basic principle what the organization is always going to look into. Two conditions. The first condition is what? It will affect the organization. Accepting the defective product. The second one is rejecting the good product. The first condition should not happen. This is the basic rule, right? See the limit gauges, go gauge, no go gauge, right? Limit gauges are the gauges used for inspecting the limit size of the component for deciding whether the component is acceptable or rejected. Like I told in the last class, right? Go gauge, no go gauge. Using that, the limit gauges, you're going to make sure that whether the component is acceptable or rejectable. You're not going to measure the component. You'll just make sure the state of the component is accepted or rejected. There is the limit gauges. In that go gauge, you see over here, made for maximum metal limit. If you see the figure previously, which the figure always I refer the image, in that go gauge always represent MMC, maximum metal condition or maximum metal limit of the component. It always go into the component which has a material less than maximum metal limit of the component. If the go gauge enter the component, it is accepted. And go gauge stage, and if does not, and no go gauge, if it does not enter the component, it can be sent to the rework. This is the Taylor principle. There is a statement over here. First, you look into only the second and the third one. Later, we'll discuss about the first one. Right? First, we'll discuss about the second and the third statements. In the textbook, it is not actually in that form of statement. It is only in the form of sentences. Taylor principle of gauge design, if you see in the textbook, Chandrasekhar, it will be in the form of sentences, right? You can take the snapshot also. I will share it again because it is important. I have made it in different colors and bold letters so that you can able to analyze and understand much better way. The second one, first we'll go to the second one. The go gauge should check all the related dimensions. Go gauge should check all the related dimension. Related dimension in the mean roundness, size, shape, location, straightness. All these dimension the go gauge should check. At one point of time, it should check all these things: roundness, size, shape, location. Right. The second statement here, the third one here, in this one, no go gauge should check only one element of the dimension at a time. No go gauge should check only one element of the dimension. Either it can be any of the roundness or it can be the straightness. It can't be all. No go gauge should check only one element. This is the statement of the Taylor principle given by the person Taylor. No go gauge should be designed in such a way that it check only one element of the dimension at a time. That is a statement, right? There is the rule. Where designing the go gauges, it should check all the related dimension that you keep in mind. You see over here this figure. Again, I have taken the same image which I keep on telling in the previous classes also. Right? This now see the first one. See, go gauge should be designed to check maximum metal limit. You can see the figure also. All of you know already that go gauge represent maximum metal condition. You can see the cursor right here. Go gauge represent always maximum metal condition MMC. That's what it is written in the sentence. Go gauge should be designed to check the maximum metal limit, while the no go gauge should be designed to check the least metal limit. You can see over in the figure also the no go gauge should be having this no go gauge should be designed with the least metal condition LMC or LML, least metal limit. Here it is in the sentence it is given, right? This is the statement, three statements of the Taylor's principle. This statement I will take it again in the another one while designing the limit gauges, right? As of now, go gauge should check all the related dimension. No go gauge should check only one element of the design, one element of the dimension at a time. This is the description of this image. which I keep on telling from the previous class. See here, go plug gauge. Plug gauge is the one which is used to measure the hole, right? Plug gauge. Go plug gauge should correspond to the lower limit of the hole. You can see over here, this is the hole, right? This is the go gauge. Go plug gauge should correspond to lower limit. Go gauge correspond to lower limit of the hole, lower limit or smallest hole. No go gauge, there is no go plug gauge should correspond to upper limit of the hole. Here, no go gauge should correspond into upper limit or largest hole. So based on these principle only, this has been designed. The plug gauge, snap gauge, or the ring gauges. Right? See, if you take the snap gauge, go snap gauge, it should correspond to upper limit of the shaft. Again, go snap gauge, because snap gauge is the one which is designed to check the shafts. It need not to be cylindrical, it can be the rectangular also, right? Like I told in the last class, snap gauge. Go snap gauge should correspond to upper limit of the shaft. The upper limit of the shaft means this one. Go gauge should correspond into upper limit of the shaft. These two statements with respect to hole. The third and the fourth one, what you are seeing here, the cursor, this is with respect to this, right? Go gauge with respect to shaft, it is the largest shaft, that is upper limit. If you take no go snap gauge, it should correspond to lower limit of the hole. No go gauge for the shaft, it represent smallest shaft here, that is lower limit of the shaft. This image what is been shown, it represent the Taylor principle only as it is given over here, right? But earlier we explained this figure, then we came to this principle, so that you can able to understand it in much better way. All the gauges is being designed. The name of the heading, it is given Taylor principle of gauge design. To design the gauge itself, plug gauge, snap gauge, ring gauge, they'll use this principle, MMC, LMC. For hole, for shaft is different, right? See, this is what the gauge design will comply with the Taylor principle. That means this example what I have given here, this will follow the Taylor principle. This is not there in the textbook, but the notes what I shared yesterday, it will be there in that one. I think all of you gone through it, because I told in the last in the yesterday itself. Yeah, today we're going to discuss the Taylor principle. This example represent the complying with the Taylor principle, right? Suppose you are having this type of component. I hope all of you can able to hear it. This component is the one which need to be inspected, right? As you can see over here, it is a rectangular component, right? For rectangular component, again, they're going to take the gauge, go, no go gauges. Assume this is the gauge which is used to inspect this component, right? Like this. See, this component is having the dimension 25 plus or minus 0.5 tolerance. Here 35 plus or minus 0.5, because it is a rectangular hole. This is the hole, through hole. For this, the component need to be inspected using the gauge. Here, the red color one here represent, you can see the cursor, no go gauge. This is go gauge, right? Here go gauge, this is the instrument, right? This is the component. The blue color one, what you can see over here is the component. The green color one is the go gauge, the instrument. And here red color one, it is the no go gauge. This is also the tool which is used to inspect it. See, as per the statement, see, I copied paste the same statement which is there in the previous slide, the second and the third one. You can see over here, the second and the third one, the same thing I copied over here, so that it will be easy for you to understand. See, the second point, go gauge should check all the related dimensions. Go gauge should check all the related dimension, roundness, shape, size, straightness, like this, all the related dimension, go gauge. See in this example, this is the go gauge. Only one go gauge it is there here, right? So because it is a rectangular hole, rectangular component, at this point of time, by using this as a gauge, if we insert into this component, this gauge as the name represent go, it has to pass into the component. While passing this gauge, while passing into this hole, rectangular hole, does it inspect only one dimension or other element of the dimension also? It will measure two elements of the dimension, right? See, it will measure this height as well as this length of the component, right? This this 25 plus or minus 0.05 also is going to measure. This 35 plus or minus 0.05 also is going to measure, right? That is, it check all the related dimension, whatever the component it's going to have here in this, all the dimension it is going to check by using only one gauge, go gauge. So in this particular example, it measuring the shape. Which is the shape here? It is the rectangular one. It is also measuring the straightness of it. It is also measuring these two dimensions, this 25 as well as 35. All the related dimension, that is the go gauge. If you take the no-go side, the red color one here, what you can see over here, see there are two gauges are there, which is mentioned in the numbers. No-go 1, no-go 2. You can see over here in the figure, right? The red color one, no-go
Sir,
1.
are we adding both the no-go gauges?
See, in this case, here, this image, it is only for your reference, right? No
Yeah,
go and no go
but
gauge, it is there in the two sides, only two, because always don't think that the whole, it always in the circular shape. It can be this rectangular shape also. For that also, gauge is available. For that reason, here I added this image only for your reference. See, always go gauge, it is only single component, this one, but it can able to measure the all related dimension. As you can see over here in the figure, it is measuring this also as well as this also, 25 as well as 35, because it is a go green color. It can enter into the component. It is measuring the shape also, whether it is rectangular, square, or any other shape of it. When it comes to the no go gauge, it should check only one element of the dimension at a time. That is the rule, that is the principle what the person has been stated. While designing this gauge, no-go gauge, it should be designed in such a way that only one element of the dimension can be checked at a time. At a time, only one. In this case, in this particular component, rectangular component, here it is not possible to use this type of single no-go gauge as per the statement is concerned. For that reason, there are two no-go gauges are there. No-go gauge 1, no-go gauge 2. See here, by using first no-go gauge 1, they will try to insert it. As the name represents, it is no-go or not go. It will not enter or it should not enter, so that the component, this dimension is acceptable, because it measures only one element. Suppose here, this second one, they will take this again, they will try to pass through this component, because it is 25.5, as the size, it is nearly exactly size of this limit of it. Again, it won't enter. As the name represents, it is no go. Then the component is acceptable. So no go gauge should check only one element of the dimension at a time. I will tell you in the next slide how it is different. You can able to compare it, so that you can able to understand it in a better way. As of now, go gauge should check all the related dimension. No go gauge should check only one element of the dimension at a time. This is the complying statement, complying one example. Next example, here, this does not comply. All of you can see over here, you can see, right? Gauge design not comply with the Taylor principle. This design of the gauges with the same component, the same dimension, the blue component which you have taken in the previous slide, the same component here it has been taken. but the gauge design, it is being changed now. See, go is two go gauges are there. Here only one no go gauge is there as compared to the previous one. Here only one go gauge is there. Here two no go gauges. It is actually complying as far as the statement is concerned. In this example, go gauges are two and no go gauge is only one. As the statement is concerned, go gauge should check all the related dimension. No go gauge should check only one element of the dimension. Here in this, is it possible to comply with that statement? It is not at all possible to comply with the statement. Go gauge, it is checking only one element of the dimension at a time. As per this figure is concerned, the statement has become go gauge is checking only one element of the dimension at a time. If you use this go gauge, first one, you can check only this dimension, 34.5. It is not possible to check this dimension. Or you can't say that whether it is rectangle or cylindrical or any other shape. If you take this go gauge 2, you can check only this dimension, the height of it, 24.5. You can't check this one, 35. As per the statement is concerned, go gauge should check all the related dimension. But here, all the related dimension is not possible by using only one. You have to use the two. So it is not complying. It is wrong. What the design, what it is there, it is not complying with the Taylor principle. If you take the no-go gauge also, similarly, no-go gauge, as the statement is concerned, it should check only one element of the dimension at a time, as per the statement is concerned. But here in this case, is it possible to check only one element of the dimension? It is not checking, right? It is checking the both, this as well as this. I will take another example in the next slide so that you can be able to understand much better way. As of now, this is not complying. This design of the go or no go gauge is wrong. It is does not comply with the Taylor principle. Go gauge should check only, go gauge should check all the related dimension. This is correct. No go gauge should check only one element of the dimension at a time. This is correct one. This is the wrong one. It does not satisfy the Taylor principle, right? See here, example, another example. This I have shared in that PDF file also yesterday in the WhatsApp. I hope you've gone through it in that one. The same example I have given over there in the PDF also. Here, the Taylor principle, as the name represent, go gauge. It must check the dimension, all the dimension, as well as the form of it, whether it is perpendicular, whether it is straight, right? The go gauge must be, it must be like this. This is the right mark, tick. That means it is correct. The gauge can be this shape also. It can check all the related dimension. If this is the component, this is the slot, rectangular slot with the height as well as the width of the component. If it has to inspect, the go gauge should be like this. All the related dimension means this height as well as this width. In one go, it has to inspect. That is the statement. That is the principle, Taylor principle. Similarly, if you take the no-go, a no-go must check the dimension of the slot one at a time. For that reason, two separate gauges must be used. In the previous example, I told no-go gauge 1, no-go gauge 2. This gauge will be used to check only the height. This gauge will be used to check only the width of the component as per the statement is concerned. It should be designed in such a way that the principle or the rule what it says it has to follow. Otherwise, it is not considered as a proper gauge design. What we are discussing is with respect to design of the gauge only. And for design of the gauge, Taylor principle is used. This is the correct one. Go gauge should inspect all the dimension. No go gauge should inspect one dimension at a time. Right? Understood? Any doubt in that one? This is the rule as per the statement is concerned. See here, this is the wrong one. No go gauge. The previous one, No go gauge is separate. Two separate gauges has been used because this is the statement. Suppose instead of like this two separate no go gauge, suppose both will be combined to form one no go gauge like this. There it is wrong. If a single no go gauge is which is shown as if it is used, the gauge why it is wrong, I will tell that one here in the condition. Why it is wrong? Why the no go gauge should not be checked multiple dimensions at a time? If the single no go gauge as shown, if it is used, the gauge is likely to pass the a component even if one of the dimension is less than the desirable limit because it get stuck due to the other dimension which is within the correct limit. This is the wrong one. This is the reason why the no go gauge should not check more than one element of a dimension at a time. No go gauge, right? See, if the single no go gauge which is shown, if it is used, the gauge is likely to pass a component even if one of the dimension is less than the desirable limit. There are two dimensions are there, right? This is height, this is width. If any one of the dimension is having the less one, it easily going to enter inside because it is no go, it should not enter. It will enter even though another dimension is correct, it will consider to be as a rejected component. For that reason, no-go gauge should not check more than one element of a dimension at a time. This type of design of the no-go gauge is wrong. It should be like this, separate, which can inspect only one element of a dimension at a time. This is no-go gauge. This is go gauge, as per the statement given by the Taylor, right? As per the statement given by the Taylor, go gauge should check all the dimension. No go gauge should check only one element of a dimension at a time. So this is what the Taylor's principle. It is not in depth like this in the textbook. It is little bit confusing. So don't get confused. I have taken the examples, one or two examples, so that you can able to understand in a much better way. Because of the statement given by the Taylor, the gauges will be designed in this pattern. Go gauge, no go gauge. This is the wrong one, and that is the right one. Any doubt of till now? This understood? No, no go
Yes, sir.
gauge, no go gauge. Um, this it is there in the PDF file also in the WhatsApp. What I shared in the yesterday. Right? Please go through it. Still, if you have doubt, in the next class you ask, or else you ask in the WhatsApp only. I will communicate you. The another one is with respect to limit gauges. You can read in the bottom here illustration of Taylor principle in design of limit gauges. Right? The previous one, what we are discussing is with respect to gauge design, Taylor principle of gauge design. Now with respect to Taylor principle. Now with respect to Taylor principle used for the limit gauges. Limit gauges means by using the plug gauge or the snap gauge for go and no go. Right? See this figure, if you see the first one A, this is the shaft, right? This is the shaft. This hatchet portion represent it is a tolerance zone. So upper limit from here to here, upper limit from this point to this point, it is lower limit. You can see here in the example, snap gauge. Right? Snap gauge, it is used to inspect the component. Even if it is cylindrical also or non-cylindrical component also, it can inspect snap gauge. Go snap gauge, no go snap gauge. It is mentioned like this C, right? You can see that C shape. Why that C shape is there? It is because this is the snap gauge, right? This portion it is shown in the figure. Go, it represent like this. No go, it is another C, right? No go, go. This is the plug gauge, which is shown in the second figure. This is the hole. The first figure is the shaft. The second figure is the hole. This hole, obviously, they're going to use the plug gauge. You can see in the figure, plug gauge. One side is shown as go plug gauge. Other side is shown as no go plug gauge. This is the one. This is another point. Go plug gauge because it's a hole. This is the tolerance zone. Right? From here to here, it is lower limit. From this point to this point, it is upper limit. What it is shown. Right? Both with respect to shaft and with respect to hole, how the limit gauges are being to be designed, which is given by the Taylor. That is discussing in this topic. The same thing what I discussed in the earlier one. Again, I will going to repeat. Here, go gauge is designed to check maximum metal condition. It is the statement given by the Taylor principle. In the Taylor principle only, go gauge should check the MMC. That is upper limit for shaft, lower limit for hole. You see this image, go gauge should check maximum metal condition. Upper limit for shaft, lower limit for hole. Are you getting right? All of you understanding right? Go gauge should check maximum metal condition. Upper limit for the shaft, largest shaft, upper limit. Lower limit of the hole, smallest hole. That is what in the statement is given. Go gauge is designed to check maximum metal condition. No go gauge should be designed to check minimum metal condition or minimum metal limit. It should be designed for MML or LML. You see this figure? No go